"Can I share this table?" The cafeteria noise dipped just a little when the one-legged soldier asked the question. It wasn't loud, and it wasn't dramatic. It was careful, the kind of careful that comes from learning, the hard way, that taking up space can make people uncomfortable. The janitor looked up slowly. He had chosen the corner table for the same reason she stood there now, because it was out of the way. Because people didn't look twice at corners. He was older. His uniform faded from 100 wash cycles, his hands rough with years of quiet labor. A half-eaten sandwich lay on a napkin in front of him, crusts carefully aligned, as if order was something he still believed in. For a long moment he didn't answer. Around them, conversations resumed. Laughter. Phones scrolled. Trays clattered. Life continued at a speed neither of them quite moved at anymore. Then the janitor met her eyes. "You don't have to ask," he said. "But if you're asking, then yes. Sit, please." She sat carefully, easing herself into the chair, angling the prosthetic so it wouldn't bump the table leg. She had learned how to enter rooms without announcing herself, how to exist without explanation. Still, she felt the familiar weight, the curiosity, the pity, the unspoken questions hovering in the air. She adjusted her tray. He folded his napkin once more. "You don't mind?" she asked, because years of recovery had taught her to double-check kindness. The janitor smiled, small and steady. "No, I mind empty tables more." That answer landed somewhere deep. They ate in silence at first, not the awkward kind, more like the quiet of two people who had learned to live with their own thoughts. She noticed his boots were worn thin at the soles. He noticed she cut her food into careful, measured pieces the way physical therapists teach you when balance is no longer automatic. "You military?" he asked gently. "Was," she said, "until I wasn't." He nodded as if that made perfect sense. "I was a father," he said after a pause. "Until I wasn't very good at it. Then I learned how to be quiet." That surprised her. She looked up. His eyes didn't carry bitterness, just reflection. Like someone standing at the edge of a long road already walked. "My name's Lena," she said. "Arthur," he replied. "Nice to meet you, Lena." She expected questions. She always did. How did it happen? Does it hurt? Are you okay now? But Arthur asked none of them. Instead he asked, "You new here?" "Rehab program across the street," she said. "I come here because it feels normal." He smiled again, this time a little sad. Normal is underrated. They began to talk, not about war, not about loss. About coffee that tasted like regret, about the way winter light made even ugly buildings look honest, about how strange it was to wake up alive when so many didn't. Then, without thinking, Lena said, "I used to lead people." Arthur didn't flinch. "I still follow floors," he said. "Every day, they tell me where I've been." She laughed before she could stop herself. It startled them both. Time slipped. Trays emptied. The lunch crowd thinned. Finally Lena stood, steadying herself. "Thank you for letting me sit," she said. Arthur shook his head. "You didn't take anything from me," he said. "You gave me company." She hesitated, then asked, "Same time tomorrow?" He looked at her as if she had offered him something precious and unexpected. "I'd like that," he said. As she walked away, she didn't notice the way Arthur watched her, not with pity, not with admiration, but with recognition, like someone who knew exactly how heavy survival could be. And she had no idea that the answer he would give her the next day, the answer she hadn't even asked for yet, would change the way she understood courage forever. The next day Lena arrived early. The cafeteria smelled the same: burnt coffee, disinfectant, warm bread. She scanned the corner table before she even realized she was doing it. Arthur was already there. He had 2 cups of coffee this time. "For you," he said, sliding one across as if it were the most natural thing in the world. She smiled. "You remembered." "I remember things people don't think matter," he said. They talked longer that day, and the next. Weeks passed. Their table became a small island of consistency in a world that had taught both of them how quickly things could disappear. One afternoon, Lena arrived frustrated. Her therapy session had gone badly. Her balance was off, her patience thinner than usual. "I hate that everyone calls me brave," she said suddenly, gripping her cup. "I didn't choose to lose my leg, I just survived." Arthur listened without interrupting. "People stand when I walk in," she continued. "They thank me for my service, but they don't see the nights I can't sleep, or the mornings I don't recognize myself." Arthur was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Can I tell you something, Leah?" She nodded. "I used to manage a factory," he said. 20 years. Good job. Good pay. Thought that made me important." He paused. "Then my wife got sick. Then my son stopped calling. Then the factory closed. I didn't lose a limb. I lost relevance. She looked at him surprised. I became a janitor because it was honest, he continued, because the floors didn't care who I used to be. They only cared if I showed up. He met her eyes fully now. You asked me the first day if I minded you sitting here, he said. I didn't answer right away because I was deciding something. What? She asked. Arthur smiled, but this time there was something fierce in it. I was deciding whether to tell you the truth, he said. Because you don't need permission to share space. You've already earned it. Not because you're wounded, but because you're still here. Lena felt her throat tighten. You think bravery is about what you lost, Arthur said softly, but it's about what you carry without applause. The cafeteria noise faded again. You don't need my table, he finished. I need yours, because sitting with you reminds me that surviving isn't failure. Lena blinked hard. No one had ever said that to her that day when they stood to leave. Arthur stumbled slightly. Lena reached out instinctively. They steadied each other. And in that moment, she understood something simple and profound. Strength wasn't loud. It didn't wear medals or uniforms or titles. Sometimes, strength wore a janitor's badge. Sometimes it used a prosthetic leg. Sometimes it asked quietly, "Can I share this table?" And sometimes, the most stunning reply wasn't spoken at all, it was lived, day after day, by showing up, making space, and reminding someone else that they were never a burden for needing a seat. They returned to that table for years, not because it was special, but because together they made it sacred.